What were your initial thoughts on Reuters news?
Sadness. Hearing that it's never good news when companies are announcing closing, especially when it impacts over 400 employees. We had no contact or no communication from Thomson Reuters. They're not members of ours. But I go back even a time at City Hall, there's never been a lot of connectivity with the company. As you know, at one time it was Lawyers Co-op, it was family owned and locally owned. It's now owned in the Midwest, I believe. I'm not sure if it's Minnesota. But we have heard rumblings over the years, but nothing concrete, so it was a little shocking to hear that yesterday. We still have not had any direct contact. What we're going to do is work to offer wherever we can services to displaced employees. I'm not sure who will actually be displaced. We have heard they may have offered some employees opportunities to move and relocate with them. But we have done a pretty good job in the past with other companies that have closed down, CenturySafe being one. We have a great staffing and placement agency here, and we work very hard to try and get people placed into jobs. So we will certainly jump in and help any way that we can. And it's kind of sad because we had two very good news announcements this week. IDEX expanding, Bausch & Lomb expanding, both growing jobs. And then we have the Thomson Reuters news, but it was not good news. So we're very resilient in Rochester. As you know, if you go back to our history here, for the last 2 or 3 decades, when closings do happen, those jobs seem to get assimilated into our economy, and we seem to do a pretty good job maybe absorbing some of those employees. Everywhere I go, and this week was no different, companies like Kodak and Xerox especially, you find a lot of their former employees permeating our local companies. And so we'll do our best to try and place people, and we hope that we can at least get some good news out of what I would call not a good news story hearing that they're going to be closing.
What are these employees qualified for? What kind of jobs, and are there the jobs in Rochester that need to be filled?
Well, I'm not sure each of the capabilities or jobs over there. There's probably a wide range of positions that they have, out of 425, but we place everywhere from entry level to executive level, and a lot of other companies around probably do the same thing, but we'll work very hard to help people get jobs. With the workforce issues today, I find that a lot of CEOs, a lot of companies have a very hard time finding good, experienced employees. We have a lot of unfilled jobs, and so this could be an opportunity for some. Whether they fit specifically with what their needs are, I don't know, but we certainly are going to do an outreach and offer to help any way that we can.
Bob, is that 425 a number you kind of heard then?
Just heard recently, 425.
Who do you hear that from, the company? Or
it was I just read something this morning, I'm not sure who it came from, but I think the company has about 45,000 worldwide, but I think it's like 420 or 425 here in Rochester.
Is it and I say a zero-sum game, but what you see, you have Bausch & Lomb, long-time manufacturer, 100 jobs, IDEX, 30, 40 jobs. Do you at the chamber, do you look at it as a balance, oh gee, we gain these jobs, but we're losing these? I mean, do you kind of compare them against each other?
Well, it's frustrating because you like to see the numbers always go up. And, we battle here. We don't recruit a lot of companies in Rochester. I think a lot of our growth is organic. This whole innovation economy is taking off. A lot of these smaller companies, Dado being a great example of a young man from RIT who started something in his parents' basement and grew to over 400 employees here. Those are the kinds of things we're seeing here right now. And I said this yesterday at Bausch & Lomb. For people that criticize government spending and government investment, our area is very heavily dependent on investment by the public sector, more so than other regions around the country. So if you were to take away the governor's investment, government and the legislature over the last almost 8 years, I think it's between $1 and $1.6 billion in a variety of areas. You see that at universities, you see it with businesses, you see it downtown, you see it in outlying areas. And even this week, Bausch & Lomb is growing jobs, and a lot of that is thanks to a lot of work by New York State, Empire State Development, and the governor. When I was with the governor, we lobbied Valiant Pharmaceuticals in New Jersey to have them grow here. So it's been an ongoing battle to keep B&L growing, but it is frustrating, and we just have to keep on putting one foot in front of the other. And we're never overconfident. We are looking at ways to improve. We're going through a process right now locally. How can we improve our economic development efforts? And more to come in months ahead, but we're looking at ways. How do we get better at what we do? How do we work more collaboratively together on that? And how do we have consistently better outcomes? And we have a lot to offer. We have, I think we're a treasure trove here in Rochester. It's just making sure we get on people's radar and radar screens. And I always say affordability, our talent, those two are second to none. That's why I think we did a pretty good job. We didn't place in the top 20, but we did pretty well with the Amazon HQ2, which went to New York City, Northern Virginia. But our affordability and our tech talent was a big part of their interest. And so we have to look at that for the future and just keep trying to get better and better at what we do and helping our current companies grow and expand.
As long as you mentioned Amazon, I was going to ask you about that. Any regrets in whatever time, money, efforts, and plus to give a lot of data, frankly, to Amazon over that whole thing?
No regrets. My sense is, looking back at the process, they probably predetermined in some places where they would go eventually. We thought we had a chance with a smaller, mid-sized city, a area that really could be transformed by Amazon. We thought we stood a pretty good chance. That was obviously not their goal or philosophy. They went with the bigger regions and really the two major capitals in our country, New York City and Washington, and they're in both. So not surprising. I would say maybe the one secondary prize is at least they're in New York State, and at least they're going to be in Queens and Long Island City, which I know well, and I'm glad the governor was able to get them here. But I think the process, we learned a lot with the process in terms of looking at our strengths and our weaknesses, and we know what they are. And I think the strengths are many. With Amazon, one of the primary weaknesses, we have no direct international flights out here. And they're a worldwide global business, and if you are going most places, you have to take at least 2, if not 3 flights. So that was one issue for us and Buffalo. But there are also the number of jobs. In all honesty, I'm not sure if we won, we could fill 25,000 jobs as quickly as they would like. Because I think we are challenged right now with workforce and workforce development placement. That might have been a pretty big issue for us. So it might have been a blessing we weren't picked, but the process was one we learned a lot from, learned a lot about ourselves, and hopefully that will make us better.
Bob, is there anything that the Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Center can do to maybe help keep them here? Thomson Reuters?
Yeah, believe me, I think we're all taken by surprise. I don't believe the state had any prior knowledge of the city. I've heard nothing from anybody. So if there is a chance to save those jobs, yes, we will. We're not sure if that's there. Sometimes companies make their decisions and don't want that opportunity. But if there is, certainly. The regional council, I can speak for the mayor, the governor. I think everybody would be aligned trying to keep those jobs here. 425 jobs or anywhere in that area is huge. We want to keep those. So those are all pretty professional jobs over there as well.
What exactly did their office here do?
I know traditionally they did a lot of law books, a lot of publications over the years. I think it's probably pretty much the same. It's a big company, it really is. And again, it was family owned here for a long time. Hargrave family, I think, was the primary owner. One thing I would say when our companies, and I would say Lawyers Co-op is kind of a legacy company here for Rochester. It was always pretty big, grew very organically over the years. But when companies like that are purchased by somebody else, you lose control. When headquarters are not in Rochester or in this region, these decisions get made for a variety of reasons. And I think that if we can't turn that back, we just work very hard to try and make sure that we find jobs for those who are displaced and keep on trying to do the very best we can to grow what we have.
The facility itself, it's right downtown. It's in a good spot, and even like the whole Rock the Riverway project is right in the middle of that. I know it's very early, but any idea what you could do with it?
Well, I'll defer to Mayor Warren or team on that one, but his right to the river, I would think the building itself is a great spot for somebody. That's a great location. So that's a plus. Not sure when that would be vacated. I don't know what their plans are in terms of timeframes. But going back to the first question, if there is a chance to help save those jobs, we will. We'll work with that. But just the way this came out, I think that there's been a predetermined decision already, and I hope we're not too late.
So again, you didn't talk to them, so we don't even know time frame or anything.
I understand there's not been much communication going to anyone right now. I think, like you, we're all surprised by the announcement when it came out and all a little shocked by it. You could always tell that if Department of Labor puts something out, the state's been involved. I don't think we saw anything from DOL, so my sense is they were surprised as well. And we don't know. There's been no communication with anybody, and when those things happen, it makes it a little difficult. But we're still trying to connect, and hopefully we'll connect and maybe get some answers, and at least, as I said before, offer to help and assist their current employees.
Is that rare for a company not to contact the state or contact the city?
Well, I've gone through both, where people will give you advance notice, and I think a great, I guess, example of that would be Century Safe. They were moving their operations to Mexico, but they gave us almost a year's notice, and that time, I mean, I think the company, even though we didn't want them moving, you know, out of our area, out of our country, I think one of the things it did was give us a chance to find jobs for people. So I thought that was, they really had a heart by doing that, by having that period of time to allow people to find other careers. And to my knowledge, almost everybody did who wanted to stay here. Okay,
Bob.
thanks, Bob.
Bob.
Have a great
Thank
day,
you.
guys. Thank you
Take
very
care.
much.